Beloved one, listen carefully. The mind has played a very subtle trick on you. It has whispered that peace will come later, later when the room is quiet, later when people behave, later when the body feels comfortable, later when life finally arranges itself according to your expectations. And without realizing it, you have accepted this lie. You have postponed peace. You have told existence, I will be at ease only if you cooperate. This is the most dangerous agreement you can make because existence never signs contracts with the mind. Beloved soul, the search for perfect conditions is not the search for peace. It is the avoidance of life. When you demand silence before you can be calm, comfort before you can relax, order before you can breathe freely, you are training yourself to remain disturbed. You are teaching your nervous system that safety exists only in ideal circumstances. But ideal circumstances do not exist. They appear for a moment and disappear the next. So your peace becomes fragile, temporary, always about to collapse this deeply. The moment you say, I will be okay when everything is right, you have already guaranteed that you will never be okay. You have handed your inner well-being to forces you cannot control, weather, people, noise, timing, your own body. This is not intelligence, this is bondage. This is living like a beggar, waiting for reality to grant you permission to be at peace. Beloved one, perfect conditions weaken you. They make you dependent. They remove your inner strength. Like a plant grown in a laboratory, protected from wind and rain, the moment real life touches you, you collapse. A small sound irritates you. A slight discomfort unsettles you. A minor disruption ruins your entire day. Not because these things are powerful, but because you have never learned to stand in the storm. Peace that depends on conditions is not peace at all. It is a bargain, and every bargain with life eventually breaks. Real peace is born only when you stop negotiating with reality, when you stop saying, this should not be happening, and begin to rest in what is. The paradox is profound. The more you chase perfect conditions, the more disturbed you become. The moment you stop chasing, peace begins to arise on its own. Remember, this beloved soul peace is not found in perfection. Peace is discovered in your capacity to remain open, relaxed, and present even when life is imperfect. Beloved one, go deeper now. The moment your peace depends on outer conditions, you have quietly stepped into a prison. But this prison has no walls, only expectations. You have told yourself, if people behave, if situations cooperate, if the environment aligns, then I will be at peace. And in saying this, you have handed the key of your inner freedom to the world outside. Look closely, beloved soul. Why would the world ever care about your inner harmony? When peace depends on circumstances, you are no longer the master of your inner space. You become a hostage. Mm. A slight change in temperature steals your calm. A careless word from someone else shakes your balance. A delay annoys a small inconvenience. and your inner sky fills with clouds. This is not because life is cruel, it is because you have outsourced your well being to things that are unstable by nature. Beloved one, circumstances are like waves on the ocean, constantly moving, never predictable. To base your peace on them is like trying to build a house on water. Today the wave is gentle, tomorrow it is violent. You will spend your entire life adjusting, fixing, protecting, controlling, yet peace will remain just out of reach. Not because it is far away, but because you are looking for it in the wrong place. See the subtle violence in this arrangement. When your emotional state depends on variables you cannot control, you are in continuous fear. Fear that something will go wrong. Fear that someone will disturb your balance. Mm. Fear that life will not cooperate. This fear becomes your background music, even in moments that appear pleasant. You are never fully at ease because you know how easily it can be taken away. Beloved soul, this is the core of inner slavery. Not chains on the body, but dependence of the heart. Freedom begins the moment you reclaim your inner authority. When you stop saying, you must change so I can be okay, and start discovering that you're okay. Ness is not something the world can give or take. When peace arises from within, circumstances lose their power. They can still change, but they can no longer imprison you. Beloved one, listen even more attentively now. You believe that life hurts you. You believe that situations wound you, that people disturb you, that noise, heat, delay, chaos are the causes of your suffering. This belief feels obvious, but it is false. What truly hurts you is not what happens. What hurts you is your resistance to what happens. The moment you say inside, this should not be, suffering is born. Beloved soul, existence is simply happening. A sound arises, a sensation appears, a delay occurs. These are neutral facts, like clouds moving across the sky. But the mind cannot leave them alone. It immediately tightens, argues, rejects. It says, I don't want this. This is wrong. This must stop. And in that inner no, pain multiplies. The situation remains the same, but now there is tension, heat, struggle. This struggle is suffering. Understand this clearly. If resistance disappeared, most of your suffering would vanish with it. The discomfort might remain, yes, but discomfort is not suffering. Heat is not suffering. Noise is not suffering. Pain in the body is not suffering. Suffering is the psychological war you start against these experiences. It is the clenched fist of the mind fighting reality. Beloved one, watch carefully. When something unwanted happens, there is a brief, raw moment, pure sensation. And then the mind jumps in. It starts shouting, blaming, predicting, complaining. That second layer is where suffering lives. Without it, the experience would pass like a breeze. With it, you carry it for hours, sometimes for days. The miracle is simple, yet shocking the moment you stop resisting, the moment you relax your inner opposition. Something extraordinary happens. The situation may still be unpleasant. but it no longer owns you. You are no longer at war. And without war, suffering has no fuel. Reality was never the enemy, beloved soul. Resistance was. For beloved one, look into the machinery of the mind. Nothing dramatic is required to disturb you. A small sound, a delayed reply, a minor inconvenience is enough. Why? Not because the event is powerful, but because the mind is a master storyteller. The moment something happens that does not match your preference, the mind begins to weave a narrative. This shouldn't be happening. This always happens to me. This means the day is ruined. Something is wrong with my life. And in that story, suffering takes root. Beloved soul, the event itself is tiny, almost insignificant. It is just sound, just delay, just sensation. But the story is heavy. The story connects the moment to your past, projects it into your future, and gives it meaning far beyond its reality. A bird chirps, and the mind turns it into an insult. Traffic slows, and the mind turns it into a personal injustice. This is how the mind transforms dust into mountains. See this clearly. The mind does not describe reality, it interprets it. And most of your pain comes not from what is happening, but from the interpretation layered on top of it. The story says, this shouldn't be happening, and suddenly you feel wronged. The story says, this ruins everything, and suddenly your entire day collapses. Reality did nothing. The mind did everything. Beloved one, the real prison is not the circumstance. It is the narrative you believe without question. The mind convinces you that this narrative is necessary, that without it you would be careless or passive. This is a lie. The story does not protect you, it poisons you. It keeps old wounds alive and creates new ones out of ordinary moments. The moment you see the story as a story, not as truth, its power weakens. The noise remains noise. The delay remains delay. But the suffering dissolves. Remember this, beloved soul, events pass quickly. Stories linger. Freedom begins the instant you stop mistaking the mind's commentary for reality itself. Beloved one, listen deeply to this truth. External conditions, what others do, what the weather is, what is happening around you, do not determine your inner state. This is perhaps the most radical secret of life that the mind resists with all its power. You have been trained to believe that peace arrives only when circumstances are aligned, when everything outside is favorable, when life gives you permission. But beloved soul, peace has never needed permission. Peace has never asked for commissions. Peace is always present. You are simply overlooking it. Beloved soul, the world will never arrange itself according to your desires. Cars will still move slowly. People will still speak carelessly. Mosquitoes will still buzz. The coffee will still be lukewarm. The Wi-Fi will still falter. Life has its own rhythm, entirely indifferent to your preferences. And yet, the mind continues to hand over your emotional state to this indifferent world, as if your happiness were its responsibility. This is madness. And yet most of humanity lives this madness every day. The insight here is liberating beyond words. You are freed at any moment, regardless of external circumstances. The outer world is neutral. Your inner resistance transforms it into suffering. Stop giving your power away, beloved one. Stop waiting for life to behave. The moment you realize that peace is your own capacity, not a reward from the world, you take back your freedom. Beloved soul, do not be fooled. External conditions have never been the source of joy, only the canvas upon which your mind paints its drama. To depend on them is to live as a slave. To awaken is to know your inner state is yours alone. The world cannot touch it unless you invite it. And when you invite it no longer, even chaos becomes a gentle teacher, and even discomfort becomes the doorway to your own luminous stillness. Beloved one, hear this and let it sink into the marrow of your being. Resistance is the hidden architect of your suffering. It is not the heat, the noise, the delay, or the inconvenience that makes life unbearable. It is your mind's refusal to accept what is. When you fight reality, when you insist, this should not be happening, you pour fuel onto the smallest spark and create a firestorm of inner torment. The circumstance itself is harmless, your opposition transforms it into torment. Beloved soul, every moment you resist, you expend enormous energy that could have nourished clarity, presence, or joy. The buzzing of a mosquito becomes a personal assault, a tiny discomfort becomes a catastrophe. A trivial mistake becomes evidence that the universe is against you. All of this is the creation of resistance. Stop for a moment and observe without resistance. The world is neutral. Only your mind makes it painful. Understand this deeply resistance does not change anything external. It does not quiet the noise. It does not move the traffic faster. It does not make the temperature ideal. All it does is deepen your suffering. The universe continues as it is, and you continue to suffer unnecessarily. Beloved one, beloved soul, freedom lies in recognizing this pattern. When you stop resisting, when you stop adding mental layers of should not and must change, your mind and heart relax. The heat is still heat, the noise is still noise, but the inner war ceases. In that pause, in that surrender, you discover a strength that circumstances cannot touch, a peace that is entirely your own. Resistance is the true enemy. Let it dissolve, and life becomes lighter, more spacious, more luminous. Beloved one, listen with your whole being. Surrender is not what the mind imagines. It is not resignation. It is not giving up. It is not passivity. Surrender is the art of allowing reality to simply be exactly as it is without the mind's compulsive. No, this should not be happening. When you surrender, beloved soul, you stop adding resistance to life, and in that stillness, immense power is born. It is the power of clarity, of presence, of energy no longer wasted on futile battles inside your own head. Beloved soul, surrender does not mean you approve of what is. It does not mean you desire pain, discomfort. or chaos. It simply means that you stop fighting against what is already here. When you are in a hot room with buzzing mosquitoes, surrender is not imagining that the heat and the insects do not exist. Surrender is noticing them, acknowledging them, and ceasing to make war in your mind. You are already in the room. You are already feeling the heat. You are already hearing the buzzing. Why create a second layer of suffering on top of the first? When you surrender, beloved one, something miraculous happens. The energy you were spending on mental resistance, the tension, the agitation, the gama is released. It becomes available to respond intelligently, to act with wisdom, to engage with life without being consumed by it. Surrender is not weakness, it is the strongest position possible. It is the place where you stop being a victim of circumstances and begin to master the art of being alive, fully awake, fully present, fully free. Beloved soul, the door to peace opens, not when the world changes, but when you stop resisting it. Surrender is your key. Surrender is your liberation. Surrender is where the storm ends and the calm within you finally speaks. Beloved one, pay attention, for this is the heartbeat of wisdom. Surrender may sound passive to the restless mind, but it is, in truth, the most potent and powerful stance available to a conscious being. When you cease resisting reality, you release torrents of energy that were previously squandered on invisible battles inside your own mind. This energy, beloved soul, does not disappear. It transforms. It becomes clarity, focus, intelligence, the ability to respond rather than react, to act rather than be swept away by the tide of mental chaos. Beloved soul, resistance chains you. It creates internal wars over circumstances that will never fully align with your desires. The heat, the noise, the delays, the imperfections. All of these are neutral, yet resistance magnifies them into suffering. But surrender clears the battlefield. It does not eliminate the noise or the heat. It simply makes you no longer their prisoner. You remain in the same room, yet freedom blooms within. The mind is no longer cluttered with arguments and complaints. The heart is no longer ensnared in judgment and irritation. And here is the miracle: from this place of surrendered stillness, intelligent action arises effortlessly. You see the world clearly, and your responses are no longer distorted by frustration or fear. You act when action is possible. You wait when waiting is necessary, and you do so with grace, with power, with awareness. This is the secret. Beloved one, surrender is not giving up, it is stepping fully into the strength of being. It is the freedom to engage with life without being consumed by it. Beloved soul, remember this: the world will always be imperfect. The circumstances will never fully obey your desires, yet your peace can remain untouched. Surrender is the vessel through which this unshakable peace flows. It is not passive, it is alive, vibrant, radiant, and unstoppable. Beloved one, listen with the fullness of your awareness. Surrender does not negate intelligent action, it perfects it. To act from resistance is to act in distortion, to move with inner tension, to react rather than respond. But when you surrender, beloved soul, your mind and heart are clear, free from the fog of struggle. Only then can you perceive what is truly necessary. Only then can you respond with wisdom instead of being driven by agitation. Action born from surrender is not reactive, it is deliberate, precise, and harmonious with reality. Beloved soul, you can fully accept the world as it is and still act skillfully within it. If the door is unlocked, you leave. If a fan is available in a hot room, you turn it on. The difference is that your energy is no longer drained by mental warfare. Resistance clouds perception, multiplies effort, and distorts understanding. Surrender clears the mind, liberates the heart, and allows action to flow effortlessly. Beloved one, this is the paradox. Surrender does not mean inaction. Surrender means you stop fighting what cannot be changed and act fully where action is possible. It is the meeting point of inner peace and outer effectiveness. Here, beloved soul, you discover a freedom so profound that the world can rage and shift around you, yet your essence remains untouched, vibrant, and utterly alive. Beloved one, open your heart and see this clearly. Surrender does not mean giving up. It does not mean becoming a passive witness to life, nor does it mean retreating into silence while the world rages. Surrender, beloved soul, is the grounding from which true intelligence arises. When you stop resisting reality, when you cease the mental struggle against what is, your mind becomes still, your vision becomes clear, and action can flow naturally, effortlessly, harmoniously. Beloved soul, understand the paradox. When you fight, your energy is consumed by resistance. Your perception is clouded. Your actions are reactive, born from tension, from anger, from frustration. But when you surrender, you stop the internal war, and suddenly you see what is necessary. You act when action is possible. You wait when patience is required. Action and surrender are not opposites, they are partners. One clears the path, the other powers the step. Beloved one, to live in surrender while acting intelligently is the ultimate freedom. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, yet you do not ignore them. You do not escape. You do not resist. You engage, beloved soul, with clarity, with presence, with courage. This is the dance of the awakened, the heart calm, the mind alert, the body in motion, yet the essence untouched. Here you are both peaceful and potent, tender and powerful, surrendered and fully alive.